This is ABC15 Mornings.
A state of emergency in Ukraine.
Give peace a chance. Too many people have already died.
This morning, Russia is on the attack.
Rising prices on more than just gas.
Airlines are probably going to have to raise fares. Anything that's transported via truck.
The ripple effect of war.
They paid their rent on time, but they're told after their lease is up, they're going to have to leave anyway. I'm investigator Joe Ducey. It's happening more and more across the valley. Here's what's being done about it.
Helping struggling artists.
Record companies aren't like they used to be.
Should musicians get paid if their songs make the radio?
It's an interesting topic, right? I didn't know that it's the writers that get paid, the singer. Anyway, it's interesting.
The joke is write a word, earn a third.
Okay, yeah, which is not so funny.
Not always applicable, but that's
right.
it's a joke.
We do have a lot to get to, clearly a lot happening overnight. We do want to take you back in time because it does affect today when it comes to your weather.
Yeah, we have to talk about that most accurate forecast. All right, so Wednesday we know all about the rain falling in the valley. Maybe you got caught up in it today. We're expecting cooler temperatures across Arizona. Let's send things over to meteorologist Iris Hermosillo, who's been tracking this all along for us. Iris, you called it. It came. So now what can we expect?
So now this storm system's clearing out of here, but it's leaving behind that cold air that we're really feeling this morning across the state. But I wanted to show you desert Doppler radar because aside from some lingering clouds along the Mogollon Rim, we're essentially looking at dry conditions across the state. But that does not mean that there's still not snow on the road. So give yourself extra travel time or delay travel if possible in the high country because of that potential for slick spots all across northern Arizona. We're also, again, dealing with the colder air. And in some spots, we're dealing with wind chill values that are in the single digits. Flagstaff at 10 degrees. Luckily, winds backing off a bit, so it feels like 10 degrees. But for Sholo, it's 16 degrees, and it feels like it's only 4 degrees. And look at Phoenix. We're dealing with the wind chill here, too. The wind's not that strong, but enough to make it feel like it's 36 degrees, even though that air temperature officially 39 at the airport. In the 30s and near freezing in many spots across the valley. A very cold start to what's going to be another very chilly day. More sunshine, but a high of just 59 degrees. I'll show you when temperatures start to kind of recover and we warm back to normal in that full 7-day forecast. But our Justin Pizzera is in for Megan Thompson this morning. And Justin, you're helping us kind of get through this morning drive, hopefully with the heat cranked up.
Oh, it certainly is going to need to be cranked up. Normally, I would say, put the windows down and head on into work. Not going to be the case today. Here's a live look at the maps right now. We are starting to see some slowing on I-10 right here. Just the typical rush hour, just really getting into full swing here. Basically, we're starting to see that backup on I-10 at around the 101. On into downtown Phoenix at this point. This is a live look at the I-10 right now. You can kind of see some of those headlights just slowly moving on into the mini stack. Here's a look at your desert drive times right now. 24 minutes. It is starting to build quite a bit on the 10 from the 303 to the mini stack. That'll take you about 24 minutes. The 17, not so bad, 14 minutes. And then on the 51, it is smooth sailing. We are going to take a quick check on your traffic predictor. That's coming up in just a few minutes, Kaylee.
All right, happening right now. A shooting investigation is underway at a fast food place. This is near 43rd Avenue and Bethany Home Road in Glendale. Our Christine Stanwood is there live. And Christine, we want to know what you're learning about what's happening.
Well, it's obvious when you're here on scene that this investigation lasted late last night at 11 o'clock and all the way through the early morning hours. You can still see detectives on scene sifting through what they can, the evidence from this shooting that happened again around 11 last night. Here's what we do know. When officers were called out here is for a shooting call, and this is at El Pollo Loco here off 43rd Avenue and Bethany Home Road. They said that they had found one man who had been shot, and they said that he had been taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police telling us that they are still looking for a suspect, if not multiple suspects involved in this case. At this point, police are not saying what led up to the shooting, how many times this individual had been shot. Of course, once we do get that information, we will let you know and you will be the first to know. Reporting in Glendale, Christine Stanwood, ABC 15, Arizona.
That's a winter wonderland in Flagstaff this morning. The city getting 14 inches of snow in the past 24 hours. All non-essential services in the city will be operating on a 2-hour delay because of the road conditions. Along with NAU and the Blue Ridge Unified School District, Payson and Flagstaff Unified will be closed today. Closer to the valley, we also saw some snow in Apache Junction. The tops of the Superstition Mountains getting a white dusting, along with Cave Creek and even places in North Scottsdale.
Well, a proposal to create a new tax credit for working low-income Arizonans is now headed to the Arizona State House. Governor Ducey actually included the tax credit in his executive budget proposal last month. The average family would get $128 per year. A family with 3 kids would get more than $300 a year. About 577,000 taxpayers would benefit in Arizona.
Tenants told they have to leave when their lease expires because their complex will no longer be accepting Section 8 vouchers. All new this morning, the Let Joe Know team takes a look at the housing crisis unfolding right here in Arizona, hearing from the people impacted the most.
That was my worst fear, of being homeless again.
Kiana says once her lease is up in November, it's a real possibility she could end up on the streets again. She says the Belcourt Apartments, now advertised as Ellis Midtown, where she lives, is phasing out Section 8 housing vouchers. These vouchers cover a portion of the rent for low-income families, the elderly and disabled. The tenants then pay the rest based on their income.
You got people that's been here 24 plus years, 30 years, and they're elderly, some of them don't even have family, let alone the means for transportation to go look. Some of them don't have internet access. What are these people supposed to do?
Like Kiana's neighbor, who's 80 and insulin dependent. They have to be out by March 1st, saying they have plans to buy a sleeping bag and a tent to use on the streets. Kiana's and her neighbor's stories are not isolated cases. Landlords across the valley are opting for higher rents rather than lower but guaranteed payments through Section 8. We reached out to Chamberlain and Associates, who manage Kiana's apartment complex, to see if this was a case, and they did not get back to us.
Unfortunately, there are situations that we're seeing where investors or outside entities are coming in, purchasing complexes and choosing to no longer rent to Section 8 voucher holders.
Elenia Sotelo is a housing manager with the city of Phoenix. She says the city's voucher program has to follow federal HUD guidelines for how much rent a voucher can cover. So keeping up with increasing rents is a challenge.
We know that the rental market, not just in Phoenix, but a lot of cities across the country are facing an influx of renters looking for places to live.
She says they're focused on finding more landlords who want to work with Section 8 recipients with their landlord incentive program, offering a bonus to any landlord that signs a new lease accepting Section 8, including returning landlords.
Our voucher holders are very stable tenants, and will continue at a unit at a home for many years at a time. And so those are all benefits to the program.
The city says for the month of February, 6,300 vouchers were paid out, while 475 are pending as people search for housing. In February, the Phoenix City Council voted unanimously to increase that landlord incentive from $500 to $2,000, hoping to get more properties available to people like Kiana. If you've got a similar issue, go to abc15.com/letjoeknow and tell me about it. I'm investigator Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
At 6:07, Major League Baseball says it'll begin canceling regular season games if the league and the Players Union can't reach a deal to end this lockout by Monday. According to an MLB spokesperson, the games would not be made up and players would not be paid a full season salary. The two sides are expected to meet again today. The league wants 4 weeks of spring training before opening day. Spring training already delayed by at least a week right now. Of course, so much of it in limbo.
Our Phoenix Suns are waking up in Oklahoma City this morning, and they are ready to get back to the action on the court after a break for the All-Star game.
Tonight they're playing the Thunder, and their starting lineup's going to look a little different tonight. Chris Paul will likely be out for the rest of the regular season because of that fractured right thumb. Backup point guard Cam Payne is also still out.
Fingers crossed, right? Everything's okay. Up next here on ABC 15 Mornings, it is a consumer alert, and this one could affect you. Why Ford is recalling more than 300,000 Mustangs.
Plus, don't leave those dirty dishes just lying in the sink. Why cleaning up your kitchen could actually be good for your health.
I'm Joe St. George in Memphis. Should artists be compensated when their song plays on the radio? We take a look at the push in Congress to change copyright laws and why broadcasters are saying not so fast.
And we're going to have a check on your morning commute. This is a live look at I-17 and McDowell. Traffic moving pretty good, but things are starting to slow on I-10. We'll go over that coming up in just a few.
It's 12 past the hour. Let's get to our morning headlines. President Joe Biden is expected to announce more sanctions against Russia for its military action in Ukraine. At least 40 people have been killed in the attacks that started last night. The president says the U.S. and our allies will respond in a united and decisive way. His address will happen after meeting with the G7 around 10 o'clock Arizona time, and we will carry that live right here on ABC 15. The White House condemning the governor of Texas this morning over a new directive ordering the State Department of Family and Protective Services there to investigate gender-affirming care among kids. This could include hormone therapy and surgery for transgender children. Ford is recalling more than 330,000 Mustangs because the backup camera displays actually go blank or become distorted because of a wiring issue. This includes model years 2015 to 2017. Notices will be mailed out to owners by next month, and dealers will fix the issue for free. Colorado will become the first state to accept cryptocurrency as payment for state taxes and fees. The state will take digital coin payments and deposit the equivalent value in dollars into the state treasury.
6:13 now. Should artists get paid when their song plays on the radio? Songwriters often get checks, but a lot of times the person who performs the song does not. So new for you this morning, our Joe St. George takes a look at a new effort in Congress to give artists some compensation.
We're going to start this thing all over every Tuesday night.
Your town may have great music venues.
What the little G boogie woogie.
You aren't tapping your toes.
Well, ain't nobody worried.
To Earl the Pearl at the Blue City Cafe in Memphis. For over 50 years, Earl has played the blues alongside legends like B.B. King, but Earl isn't afraid to admit what you probably already know. Playing music for a living can be tough.
Music is a lot different.
He says, though, decades ago, it was easier.
It's hard now.
Now, unless you're able to sell out a large venue, the paychecks are small. Earl has a music note on the famed Beale Street, has had his songs play on the radio, yet at 85, he's still performing. His longtime manager, Eric Lewis, explains why so many musicians are struggling.
Record companies aren't like they used to be.
But there is an effort in Congress to help struggling artists. After all, nobody is buying CDs anymore. It's called the American Music Fairness Act, and for the first time, it would compensate artists and performers when their songs play on the radio.
This is Folk Song Fiesta.
For context, we head to a local radio station.
On WEVL 89.9 FM, Memphis.
Where we find Bruce Newman. Not only is he a host, but he represents artists too.
This is really about fair wages and fair earnings.
He says current copyright law allows the writers of songs to be paid, but the actual performers often get nothing. Musicians from Gloria Estefan to Dionne Warwick have testified in front of Congress recently to change that. Most countries, Bruce says, are compensating artists.
We're the only ones that don't pay performers.
Radio stations, though, are pushing back. The National Association of Broadcasters, quote, strongly opposes the bill over concerns it would force many AM/FM stations to close.
We have a unique position.
Bruce admits it's complicated and smaller stations would need to be exempt.
We couldn't survive if we had to make payments.
Back at the bar,
I say you should get paid for it.
Earl is hoping for change, but until that happens, he'll keep on playing.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
In Memphis, Tennessee, I'm Joe St. George.
Pay the call.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
It is 6:15 right now. Let's get a quick check on your desert drive time, your drive into work this morning or wherever you're headed. This is a live look right now at I-10 and the 101. We are starting to see some building here. This is pretty much some of the trouble spots as our rush hour gets going. Look at I-17 right now. We are starting to see some building there. No crashes on I-17, just again, that typical building. And this is a look at I-10 right now. You can see all of that yellow and orange, pretty much that backup starting at the Loop 101 on into downtown Phoenix. It is going to take you about 26 minutes. That just flipped over to the yellow to get from the 303 to the mini stack. Just a few minutes ago, just ticked up just a little bit more. It was in the teens, so we are starting to see that build pretty quick here. On the 17, it'll take you about 13 minutes to get from the 101 to the stack, and then on the 51, it's going to be a quick 13 minutes. Here's your traffic predictor. So about 7 o'clock this morning, you're going to be going about 52 miles an hour on the 10. On the 17, about the same thing to get from the 101 to the mini stack, and then on the 51, just a little bit faster to get from the 101 to the mini stack at about 64 miles an hour. Heads up though, Iris has been talking about some of those spots on the roads this morning that are a little bit slick. On I-40, big sections of that road, Iris, are still closed between Winslow and Holbrook as they try to get all that snow cleaned up.
I was going to say no surprise, Justin. Look at some of the snow reports coming in from the high country. Around a foot of snow in the Flagstaff area with our latest storm system that moved through just as we anticipated. So it is going to take a while for some of those roads to be cleared, especially some of those side roads. You know, the highways, of course, an issue, but those crews working actively to get those cleared up for you. But it's those side roads that may take a little longer to be cleared. In Payson, about 6.5 inches of snow reported there. Heber Overguard around 6 inches of snow too. So use extreme caution if you must travel up north. Now for the valley, the rain has ended, but we did pick up just over 1/4 inch of rain here in the Phoenix area. In some spots near 1/2 inch, and in our foothills a little bit more. Still, though, we have a rain deficit of more than 1 inch, so we could use more rain. But for now, things are drying out. As you look at Desert Doppler radar, we're looking at conditions across the state, and aside from a few lingering clouds along the rim, we are looking at dry weather with our storm system, the core of it near the Four Corners region, clearing out to the east, leaving behind dry and very cold air too. But like I said, there is still snow on the roadways, and it's possible that even those roads that were cleared overnight as those temperatures plummeted, it's possible we've seen some refreezing on those roads. So black ice will be a danger today, especially this morning. Wait a little bit longer if you can to travel on those roadways, and then know that tonight we could see some more refreezing. So tomorrow morning, another morning where we're going to have to watch for some black ice across northern Arizona. The weekend, though, looking much better if you can delay travel that long across northern Arizona. Now for the valley, give yourself a little bit of extra time, not because you're going to see any rain or any ice on the roads, but you may have some ice on your windshields. I certainly did. Those raindrops froze on the windshields overnight, thanks in part to temperatures in the valley in the 30s and the car surfaces being colder and below freezing this morning. So this morning, that moisture freezing on the windshield, you're going to need to give yourself some time to defrost before you hit the roads. Make sure the windows are all clear so you can see, right? Our temperatures right now across the valley, near freezing in Apache Junction and the Santan Valley, Chandler and Maricopa, all at 33 degrees. But check out the freezes. Surprise and Cave Creek, the air temperature right at the freezing mark there. It is a very cold start to the day, and it's going to be a chilly day still as that cold air lingers. That means a very gradual warm up. 50 degrees by 11 a.m. 52 by noon, and our high only in the 50s today. 59 degrees for Phoenix. So we're going to see plenty of sunshine, but again, that cold air will stick around with our temperature essentially running about 13 degrees below the average high for this time of year. But we will get closer to average as we head towards the weekend. So just in time for those outdoor plans that maybe you had. Our temperature today, 59, but 66 tomorrow, then 70s this weekend, and guys, 80s in sight next week.
We'll talk about some incentive. A Valley Elementary School is hoping to fight teacher burnout with these. They're called Zen Dens. A counselor at Kyrene de la Sierra used a $2,500 grant from the American Heart Association to create this space for their staff members just to come and relax.
Teachers are needing to do so much more to catch their kids up academically, emotionally, socially, and that is really taking a toll.
This is a really nice way to just kind of take a break, relax, recenter, focus.
Oh, listen to that music, right? Massage chairs, mood lighting, beanbag chairs, and some music to help with meditation. Get you into that Zen mode.
Good idea.
Yeah. All right, we're going to rev you up here. Still to come at 6:25. Some of the fanciest dog houses you will ever see. We're going to tell you about an important fundraiser, too, for the Arizona Animal Welfare League.
At 6:35, the far-reaching impacts of the Russia-Ukraine conflict from the gas pump to your bank account. We go in depth on the Russian invasion and what it means to everybody, no matter where you live.
Then getting caught up in a catfish scam. Coming up at 6:45, one Valley woman sharing her story as a warning to all of us.
Plus, that winter storm moved on out of here, but at 6:49, we talk about a big warm-up in that super 7-day forecast.
And no matter where you are or when, you can always get the latest news, weather, and traffic by downloading our free ABC15 mobile app. Just use the phone on your camera right there to scan the QR code on your screen. 6:24 new for you this morning. Doing chores around the house can actually be really good for you. As you get older, a new study looks at women between the ages of 63 and 97 and found those who performed routine things like housework, cooking, gardening did see a reduced risk of heart disease. And they say even things like taking a shower can significantly help heart health when it comes to senior citizens.
6:25, does your dog's home need an upgrade? I don't know about you, but mine's kind of taken over the whole house. On your bulletin board this morning, a special event raising money for a local animal shelter. The 8th annual Design for Dogs event is happening Friday, tomorrow, 5 to 9 p.m. at Facings of America showroom in Scottsdale. It's a fundraiser for the Arizona Animal Welfare League. There's a raffle, food, music, and custom cocktails. But the main event is the dog house competition. These fancy pet homes will be up for auction. Tickets are $55, or you can get a pair for $100. For all the details, go to designfordogs.org. Helping animals and your own pup get a new home. That is on today's bulletin board.
I mean, those are pretty sweet. Hey, it's time to head to Central Perk. Today, the Friends Experience is opening in Phoenix.
You can explore 12 different rooms with recreations of sets from the hit TV show like Chandler and Joey's Apartment, and of course, the classic coffee shop there.
It only takes about 45 minutes to walk through the entire thing. Tickets are on sale now through the 8th of May.
Nobody told you life was going to be this way, right?
Right? Okay, up next at 6:30, making things more convenient for you. Target is working on changes so that you can do even more without ever having to get out of your car.
A full-scale Russian attack on Ukraine appears to be happening right now, and President Biden is set to address the nation later on today. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. The latest.
The history of a name. White leaders are coming together to discuss renaming 3 schools in Tempe.
Cold air, it's sticking around today. That means highs in the 50s. Grab that heavier coat, but know that temperatures are going to be trending up. Nicer by the weekend and then getting a little toasty, dare I say it. Next week, I'm breaking down your most accurate Super 7-day forecast.